Welcome everyone. In this video we will learn how to use Resource Scheduler. Resource Scheduler is an easy-to-use, cloud-based scheduling software allowing you to submit schedule requests for resources around campus. Here's how it works. Using Resource Scheduler, users can submit requests for resources around campus by specifying a set of parameters such as the date, the time, and the resource type. The request will then be sent to an approver, where it will then be reviewed. Once the request has been reviewed, the user will receive a notification email which will contain additional details about the request. The user can also log into Resource Scheduler to view and manage all of their requests. So now, let's jump into how to access and use Resource Scheduler. To access Resource Scheduler, open any browser and go to acelink.evansville.edu, and then log in with your AceNet credentials. Once you log into AceLink, click Resource Requests. You will then be taken to the Resource Scheduler page. This page will contain additional information in regards to Resource Scheduler. What we'll want to do next is scroll to the bottom of the page and click the link that says Click to access Resource Scheduler now. You will then be taken to the login screen. Every user will need to create an account. If you have already created an account, go ahead and enter in your email address and password and click Login. However, if you have not yet created an account, go ahead and click Add. You will then be taken to the New User Account screen. On the New User Account screen, proceed to fill in the fields displayed. In the email address field, please use your University of Evansville email address. This will allow us to best identify you when you submit a request. Once you have filled in each field, proceed by clicking Save. Once you create an account and log in, you will be taken to the home page. The home page will allow you to view the status of various requests that are in progress, as well as requests that have been reviewed by an approver. From the home page, we can also submit a new request. Before you submit a request, you may want to review the resource availability. Resource Scheduler has a tool which will allow you to see if a resource has already been booked. To view the resource availability, select the Free/Busy button. This will then display a grid-like view which will show all of the resource availability for the resources on campus. From here, we can filter on various fields to see what resources are available around campus. Let's say that you wanted to submit a request for a conference room for December 18th, which can accommodate 20 people. We can use the Resource Availability tool to see if there is a conference room available on our desired date. So first, we're going to want to select the desired date from the Date field. We can click the calendar icon and then select your desired date. You can also type the date into the Date field if you prefer. We can then specify the resource type. So in this example, I'm going to select Conference Room. We can also filter based on capacity. If your request had a certain capacity that you needed the room to accommodate, you can specify that number in the capacity field. So in this example, I'm going to go ahead and type in 20, as that is how many people I need the room to accommodate. And then lastly, you can choose how you would like the results to be displayed by. If you click the drop-down next to Sort By, you can select if you want your results to be displayed by capacity, name, or type. I'm going to go ahead and choose Name to filter the results by the name. Once you have set your parameters, click Display. Once you click Display, the grid will show the resources around campus which meet the criteria in which you specified. Any color blocks indicate that that resource has already been booked. This will allow us to see what resources are available on our desired date. So let's say that we needed the conference room from 1 to 2 in the afternoon. When looking at the grid, we can see that there are a couple options still available from 1 to 2 in the afternoon. This lets me know that when I submit a request for a conference room on December 18th, which accommodates 20 people, there should be one available. Another feature which you may find helpful is reviewing the room details. From this view, you can select the blue exclamation point icon to the left of any resource to see additional information. So for example, if you locate a room and you're not quite sure the capacity of that room, you can click onto the blue exclamation point listed to the left. Once you select the blue exclamation point, you can see information including the capacity. You can also see additional information in the room, such as if the room has a built-in projector and computer. So for example, in Graves room 306, I can see the capacity is 14, and I can also see that there is a built-in projector. When you are done viewing this window, either click Close Window or click the X in the upper right. Now if you are done using the Resource Availability tool and you are ready to submit your request, proceed by clicking the X in the upper right corner. When you are ready to submit your request, select the Create New Request button or click New Request. Both options pull open the same window and both will allow you to submit a new request. A wizard screen will then appear which will contain a series of fields in which you must fill out in order to submit your request. The first field that we will want to fill out is the request description. In this field, type in a short, meaningful description for your request. You do not need to make any selections under the location field as the only option listed is UE Main Campus, which is selected by default. We're then going to want to choose the desired resource type. From the Resource Type drop-down menu, go ahead and select the desired resource type for your request. If your request needs to accommodate a certain capacity level, go ahead and type in the specified number in the capacity field. You can then select the type of schedule. You can specify if this is going to be a one-time request or a recurring request. If you are submitting a recurring request, you can choose daily, weekly, or monthly. So for example, if you have an organization which meets monthly, you can select monthly recurring. In this example, I'm going to proceed by choosing one time as this is a request just for a one-time event. And then select Next. You will then be taken to the Request Date and Time screen. You're going to want to first choose the desired date of the request. So go ahead and click the calendar icon to choose the desired date. You can also type the date into the date field if you prefer. Then go ahead and select the time for the meeting. So we're going to want to choose the starting time from the starting time drop-down menu. And then we're going to also want to specify the ending time. If you are willing to take the next available date or time, in the case that your original date or time is not available, select the option listed on the screen for I will accept the next available date or I will accept the next available time. And then proceed by clicking Next. You will then be taken to the Additional Information screen. The Additional Information screen will contain multiple fields which you may need to fill in for your request. Please take a moment and review each field to determine what fields you need to provide information for. For example, if you are a student and you are submitting a request for your student organization, be sure that you fill in the student organization name and the student organization advisor, as well as the number of people attending your event. Not every field on this screen will be needed for your event, however, it's important to provide information when necessary. If you need additional audio-visual equipment needed for your event, please be sure to specify the specifics in the audio-visual equipment needed field. The information that you provide in this field will be sent to the appropriate team. If your event requires additional setup and teardown time, specify those details in the setup time and teardown time field. You will also see a field for special setup needs. If your event requires any additional setup needs for the room or location, please specify them in the Special Setup Needs field. This includes any additional items that the room does not already contain. Special setup needs may include things such as additional tables, chairs, or trash cans. The information that you include in this field will also be sent to the appropriate team. At the bottom of the screen, you will also see the Special Requests or Notes field. In this field, fill in any additional special requests or notes that you have that pertain to your event. If you would also like to specify a specific room or location for your request, please note that in the Special Requests field. Based on availability, the approver will do their best to accommodate the specific room or location that you specified. However, there is no guarantee that you will receive the room or location that you requested. Once you have filled in any information needed, proceed by clicking Next. You are then taken to the Request Overview screen. On this screen, you can review the details of your request. If needed, you can select the Back button to go back and change various items. If everything looks correct, proceed by clicking Finish. On the home page, you can see all pending and reviewed requests. In this example, we just submitted a request, and so we can see it listed under the Pending Request section on the home page. The request will now be sent to an approver to review. Once the approver reviews the request, you will receive an email confirmation. Here's a copy of what the confirmation email will look like. It will contain important information, including the resource. This will list the specific resource that the request has been approved for, as well as the date and time information. Once the request has been reviewed, you will then see it listed under the Reviewed Request section on the home page. Once the request has been reviewed, we can also see various details about the request. For example, for the request that we just submitted, we can see underneath the status column that it has been approved. We can also see in the resource column the specific resource that this request was approved for. You can then view the time, the date, and the request description. Now let's take a moment and familiarize ourselves with some of the items on the home page. The home page displays pending and reviewed requests. When you log into Resource Scheduler, you are taken to your home page, and on your home page you can see all of your pending requests and then your reviewed requests. There are some features that we can use to help filter the requests displayed on screen to your preference. First, you can choose how the requests are sorted in the Pending and Reviewed Requests section. So for example, let's take a look at the Reviewed Requests section on the screen. I have 4 requests that have been reviewed. If I would like to sort these requests based on the date, I can select the arrow listed next to date. You can also click the arrow listed next to any of the additional labels listed on the screen, such as request description, time, resource, and status. If at any time you would like to delete a request, click on the delete icon listed to the right of the request. So for example, if you submitted a request and then later realized that you did not need it, you can go ahead and click on the delete icon. So let me go ahead and delete one of our requests. As we mentioned earlier, once the request has been reviewed, it will be displayed in the Reviewed Requests section of the home page. You can also choose if you want to display all requests or only current requests. So for example, in the Reviewed Requests section, it can display all of your requests or only the current requests. So if you have requests that have occurred in the past, you can choose to not display them on screen. To do so, go ahead and click on the option that says Click to Show Only Current. And now you can see there are only 2 requests listed, as both of those are current. If you would like to go back and display all of the requests, click the option Click to Show All. And now you can see all of the requests. And there you go. That's how you use Resource Scheduler to request resources around campus.